Hey everybody, welcome back. This is going to be one of the most in-depth S24 Ultra reviews on YouTube. We are going to be doing a bunch of tests and talk about pretty much everything about this phone. If you have even considered buying an S24 Ultra, you will know 100% what you want to do by the end of this video, and that's a promise. Grab a snack, it's going to be a long one. Let's just get right into it. Starting with the pricing and options. You have to be very careful because some phones, depending on the storage you get, you might get more RAM too. So if you want the ultimate performance in a phone and you get, let's say, 128 gigabytes of storage, you might be stuck with less RAM than you originally thought. The great news is that the S24 Ultra comes with 256 gigabytes, 512 gigabytes, 1 terabyte options, and all of them get 12 gigabytes of RAM. Some phones now have 16 gigabytes of RAM and higher, like the Google Pixel 9 Pro and the OnePlus 13, but trust me, 12 gigabytes is plenty. Also, I wouldn't get a 1 terabyte to be honest. Using cloud storage like Google Photos, Google Drive, and other services, you really don't need it. For example, I use my S24 Ultra as my YouTube camera for most of my videos, and look at my storage numbers right now. For pricing, here are some examples of decent condition devices that I have found on used sites such as eBay. For 256 gigabytes, you're looking at about $650, for 512 gigabytes, about $750, and for 1 terabyte, around $900. But to be honest, I've seen them all sell for about $50 to $100 less than the prices I just said, but you just need to find a good deal. But what about the colors? Unlike some of the boring Apple Pro series colors, Samsung has a great selection. Titanium black, titanium gray, titanium violet, titanium yellow, titanium blue, titanium green, titanium orange. That's a lot of colors. Let's take a closer look at the design. This thing is built like a beautifully refined tank. My last long-term Galaxy slab phone was the Galaxy S8 Plus, but I'm using the Galaxy A15 and the S10 Plus to see if they are really worth it in 2025, so subscribe for more for when those videos drop. I am so happy companies like Samsung are prioritizing things like larger batteries and features like the S Pen over slimness. It is built with a premium titanium frame that feels great in the hand, and it is quite difficult to hold with or without a case, to be completely honest. It just doesn't feel that ergonomic. It also gets IP68 water and dust resistance, which is 1.5 meters for 30 minutes, so you shouldn't have any issues with random splashes here and there. The back gives you a matte finish that is nice as well, albeit a little slippery in my hands, but if you're not a case user, you will love the matte finish because it hides all the fingerprints much better than a glossy glass back. It doesn't feel overly heavy or light, it just feels right, weighing in at about 232 grams, which is 2 grams lighter than the S23 Ultra, maybe due to the titanium frame. On the bottom, we have a physical SIM card slot, the microphone, the USB-C port 3.2, a slot for the speakers that we'll test later, and of course, the King Sword, the S Pen, which is what makes the Ultra series so iconic and productive. Left side, you have, well, nothing, which means that everything else is on the right side. You have your volume rockers and power button, which can also be configured to be your Bixby Assistant, Google Assistant, or even other shortcuts, all of which sound very premium and clicky. Here's a sound clip. And lastly, at the top, you have more microphones. I would sum up the design as it's a phone that is designed to be a tool. Whether that is for media consumption, gaming, multitasking, you're taking notes, or you're drawing with the S Pen, the design complements the functions of the phone. But if we are talking about holding it, I'm not a fan. It is huge, slippery, and has sharp corners that really dig into your palm. Even with a case, it's just not comfortable to hold compared to any other device that I own. But design also plays a role in the acoustics of the device, so how does it sound? There is customizable EQ. It gives you a wide variety of balanced, this is what I will be using for all the testing in this video, but also bass boost, smooth, dynamic, clear, treble, boost, and you can even create your own depending on the type of music or content that you listen to. With that said, here is my most in-depth sound test, this time testing multiple genres. Let's see how the S24 Ultra stacks up against the iPhone 16 Pro Max. With all the sound quality comes another crucial factor of your device that most reviewers, even the big ones, never talk about: the haptic feedback. Through the sound of the haptics, you can kind of get an idea of how crisp or strong the haptics are. The display. Finally, it's flat. If you haven't been keeping up with tech, you might assume that since this is an Ultra phone, it will also have the famous curved screen of Samsung. Well, not anymore. And to be completely honest, I love the look of curved displays, I really do. But a flat display is better for multiple reasons. You don't get any accidental touches by doing things like reaching across your screen, or even if you're typing on your keyboard, I would constantly get accidental touches using my curved screens. Screen protectors actually work and can be found for less money with a flat display, and content doesn't distort at the edges. And of course, the S Pen is much more functional with a flat display because you won't be falling off the screen because of the curved edge. It's like a piece of paper. We don't write on curved paper, it's always flat. The actual display quality is arguably still the best screen available, unless of course you're watching this on your new S24 Ultra that might have come out by the time this video is released. You get a 6.8 dynamic AMOLED display with 1440 by 3120 pixels, which is 505 pixels per inch density, and since it's a dynamic AMOLED display, you're getting 120Hz adaptive refresh rate, so it adjusts your refresh rate based on what you're doing. Obviously, you will need higher refresh rate when doing something such as, I don't know, scrolling through your settings or maybe Facebook or Instagram, but you don't need 120 Hz if you're just reading a document or a PDF. This helps you save battery life, which we're going to get into later. And for all of you in sunny climates, you get terrific peak brightness at 2600 nits. This isn't as bright as some other devices that have come out recently, such as the Pixel 9 Pro XL, for example, but it's plenty bright. And there's another trick that plays a big role at how hard it is to see your screen under the sun, and that's the glare. This is the only phone, at least to my understanding, that has the anti-reflective coating from Samsung on their displays. Samsung, every phone you make needs this. Phone manufacturers, please do this too, or something similar. It's a game changer for my bright Florida sun. Now, one thing to note is that if you use a glass screen protector, you will lose this anti-reflective benefit, so keep that in mind. Also, make sure that if you buy this phone, go immediately into your settings and change the screen resolution to QHD or Quad HD Plus, which is 3120 by 1440, which is the full resolution of this display. The battery difference you might think you're gaining is pretty negligible. There's plenty of tests there on YouTube. And then go into those settings and also change the screen mode. I think Vivid looks way better in all scenarios. If you disagree, that's cool. Samsung gives you plenty of options to make it natural or however you want it. You can even adjust the white balance and the RGB to your exact liking, and even the level of vividness. Let's move on to the always-on display. There's a couple of cool things here that you might not know. You can show lock screen wallpaper if you don't care about your battery life, but I personally don't like to because you do lose a lot of battery life, so I toggle it off. You can also adjust when it is activated, what things to show, and if you want the fingerprint image or where you put your thumb on or off. And if you're worried about screen burn-in, which used to be a big issue with Samsung, and this is when the image is burned into the display by staying static in an area way too long. Don't worry, Samsung has you covered by having the always-on display move around every now and then so it doesn't stay in one place on your screen for too long. Now, it would be disingenuous, even though it hasn't bothered me too much, to not address the grainy screen issue. Is it real? Yes. It's real. I've had so many comments asking why I don't talk about it, and the true answer, you only notice it when you're at an extremely low brightness and are examining something grayish, like your notification dropdown, for example. Some people legitimately got bad displays, that's true. And if you did, send it back for repair or replacement. But I think this was an issue that was blown way out of proportion. The screen is perfectly fine. Content, photos, anything I see on it looks 10 out of 10 perfect. But I wanted to at least mention it because some of you might be purchasing this device used, since prices will come down with the S25 Ultra release. Make sure to get detailed photos of the display to ensure that the device you're looking to purchase was not affected by this grainy issue. Now is a good time to show you how you can interact with the screen even more than any other phone on the entire Android or iPhone market. The S Pen. Now, I could do a ton of different videos alone on the S Pen and each individual thing about it, but why make you sift through all of that? If you appreciate that, please hit like and subscribe for more in-depth content just like this. Here is all the useful things that you can do with the S Pen. And keep in mind that maybe you might use these things once or twice, or maybe never. But isn't it nice to have it and not need it, than to need it and not have it? So the first thing I like doing with my S Pen is that you can customize it in a lot of different ways. So we're gonna go to the application from Samsung, it's called Good Lock. And we're actually gonna talk about this later in the video, so keep watching for when we go through this. But we're gonna go to Pentastic, and it's a module that's in Good Lock. And you can change the cursors of your S Pen, you can change the sounds of the S Pen. And what's cool about this is that they have, some good default sounds there, but you can choose custom, and you probably just heard it, but I have mine set on lightsaber on, lightsaber off. So as I pull out my S Pen, it will make a lightsaber turning on noise, and when I put it back in, it will be turning off. Now you can do anything you want, so find any kind of audio file online, download it, and you can customize it exactly how you want to for your S Pen. So this is how it's going to sound. So you can actually take photos with your S Pen. So for this case, I have a selfie camera. Hey everybody, subscribe for more. But let's say that I was out and about and I didn't want somebody to take my photo, but I needed a photo taken of myself. Instead of taking a selfie, I can prop up my camera and get the angle right, and then I go ahead and I click this button right here, if that can focus on the S Pen. And once I do, it will take the photo. So kind of a cool little trick, and definitely is very useful if you don't like giving your phone to random strangers to take your phone, or if you just trust yourself better for the photo. So good thing to know. Also, you can use the S Pen to color. I know that sounds a little bit boring, but you might have young kids, or you might color to relieve some stress, maybe you have some anxiety. This might help. So you can go to the application is called Pen Up, and this is from Samsung, and it gives you a whole lot of things you can do here, but just for an example, if I wanted to color this image of the bird right here, so we're going to go over there, start coloring, and I'm very bad at drawing and coloring in general. But to give you an idea, you know, you can zoom in, you can color them here. I think there's even settings if you don't want to draw outside the line, like if you have kids, you can kind of block it. That way, as they run off the line, it will just be blocked. So they color only within the lines. So again, I'm just doing this as an example. This is not a real attempt to color, but it gives you an idea. You can change your colors. The pen types, the widths and everything, the styles and all that, the shading. You can do a lot of cool stuff. So if you're an artist, you do these things to release some stress or some anxiety, or have little kids, I think this is a great option from Samsung. Paired with the S Pen, it gives you a whole different experience than just using like your finger or something like that. So really cool. Now, another cool thing that you can do, and it's more of a party trick if anything, is that you can actually navigate through your photos with your S Pen without even touching the screen. So if you hold down the S Pen button here, as you move left, right, up, and down, you can navigate. So let me show you how that's done. And if I want to see the details, oh, it's been doing that to me this whole time. I've recorded this like 4 times. There we go. And then you can see the details. When you're done, pull it back down, go to the next one, see the details, pull it back down, next one, next one. Okay. So it doesn't work perfectly, but it's still a cool trick if you wanted to show off. I don't know how many of you will actually use it a lot. I don't, to be completely honest, but pretty cool. Another cool thing is you can actually make GIFs with your S Pen. So for example, I got this guy's video up here. I know he's not going to copyright strike me because I kind of know him more or less. He looks a lot like me. And if we go ahead and hit this button right here, we can draw around what we want the GIF to be of. We'll analyze it, select it there. And then we hit these 3 dots. We hit create GIF. And then for whatever reason, it's kind of a glitch. I have to reopen it, but it still works. So we'll go ahead and we'll hit record and then let that record, hit stop. Then there's our GIF. You go ahead and share this out to somebody, download it, share it later, or do whatever you want. And I know this is a lame GIF, but you can get much better ones, but you can do so with your S Pen. Now, this is a really underrated feature because I feel like a lot of older folks, they have iPhones because their kids buy them iPhones or whatever, but with Samsung, they have this really interesting feature with the S Pen where you can use it as a magnifying glass. So if your eyesight's kind of going and you need a little bit of help to look at those small screens, even though the screen on the S24 Ultra is quite large, you can use it as a magnifying glass. I think that is so great if you're reading like fine print documents or anything like that. It's going to work very well, especially like in your like a business scenario. You have a lot of legal files or contracts you have to look over. You can use this to use it as a magnifying glass. You can change the magnification as well. 300 is the max that you can get, but if you don't need it that much, you can go ahead and drop it down to 150 or whatever. But a really cool feature, and to turn it off, you just go back in here and, or I'm sorry, you hit this X up at the top. Once I do it, there you go, and it's off. With the S Pen, you can also control your music. So it works just as it would with a pair of headphones. So you have 1 click for play and pause, and then double click for the next track, triple click to go back, and there you go. So if you happen to have your music playing and you have your S Pen in hand, you can use it to control your music, which I think is a very cool feature. So there are some times where I'm at the office, or I'm working out, or I'm at the grocery store, wherever it is, where I might get an idea for a good YouTube video. And so what I do is I take out my S Pen, I hit the widget tools right here, and then I do this button right here, which will create a new note. And then from right there, I can just write down what I need to remember, and then it will automatically be saved in my notes section. So that is extremely useful for me when I get a random idea or thought. To have it saved right there and to have that quick access to add a note is just really useful. So we're going to talk more about the actual software experience of all this a little bit later in the video, but for the purposes of the S Pen, look at this photo of me running, okay? Let's say I want to edit it because there's some people in the background that I don't want. Well, I could use my finger paired with the software experience of Samsung, the artificial intelligence, but the S Pen makes it so I can get a much more accurate and more precise cutout of what it is that I want to remove, and boom, there you go. So again, you could use your finger, but it's not going to be as comfortable, especially if the objects are very small. This is just so much easier to draw around because of that pinpoint accuracy. Now, another thing you can do is that the S Pen helps you a ton when it comes to annotating your stuff. So if I had a song, for example, my friend was like, hey, you know, send me the picture of that song, I want to download it later. You can just, let's screenshot it, and let's go to edit it. And I could use my finger. Definitely that is a, one way you can do it. But if I use the S Pen, it is just so much more precise. It makes it a lot easier. This is kind of a bad example because it's a little bit, informal. But if you have something that's very formal, maybe like a business document that you need to annotate, some notes from school that you need to annotate, this is a very good thing. And it's gonna be a lot more comfortable than using your finger on your screen. Now, some of you at work or at school have used like the snippet or the snagit function of Windows. This is very similar. So using this tool right here with the S Pen, it's going to analyze your screen, and then you can circle around what it is that you want to snippet. And it just makes it a lot easier if I want to send this over to a friend. Instead of having to crop it out from a screenshot, I can just circle around exactly what I want, and that's all done with the S Pen. As some of you already might know, I'm actually bilingual, so I speak Spanish and I speak English. And for those of you who aren't subbed to my Spanish channel, please go to Gritino. I'll put a link over here up at the top. And what I love to do, and this is just an example, I speak Spanish, I understand what this is saying, but maybe you have like a pen pal, maybe you have family members who speak only Spanish and you're receiving their messages and you want to be able to communicate or understand their messages. Well, with the S Pen, there's a cool tool where you can actually translate just by hovering over the text that you want to translate. And it should come up here. There it goes. And you can drag it to where you want it to translate, and it will look at that context and give you the translation above. So I think that's a very cool tool because even though Spanish is not my first language, there are still things that I don't understand, so I'm learning every single day. And sometimes I might receive a text message from a friend, and I might look at that word and go, wait, I don't even know that word, and I'll translate it with the S Pen, and I'll be able to improve my vocabulary and learn new words in Spanish. So I thought that was a really cool function to highlight. So I saved this feature to the very end of this section because it is something I use so often, and that is lock screen notes. So I'm a sticky note person at my office and work, or even in life. If I think of something that I need to do, I write it down on a sticky note and I stick it on something that I'm not going to lose. That way I remember to do that one thing. And with the S Pen and Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, it gives you kind of like this sticky note feature with your lock screen and the S Pen. So if you take out your S Pen, I don't even have to turn the screen on. You can see it's already defaulted to where I can do, right here. Let me get this camera to focus. There you go. And if I remember that, oh crap, I need to, buy eggs. I can jot that down. Again, I'm left-handed. I don't write very well. So, your mileage may vary, but what you can do is you can either save it, but if you want to pin it to your lock screen, you're going to hit this pin button right there. Very intuitive. Go ahead and hit save, and you can see right there, it's on my lock screen. So it doesn't matter if my S Pen goes back in. If this is in my pocket, I pull it out. The first thing I'm going to see on my lock screen is buy eggs, okay? And it doesn't ever go away unless you make it go away. And I think that is so extremely useful. And I've used this a handful of times, and it has helped me remember some things that are very important, such as buying eggs when your wife tells you to. Let's talk about the camera. This is without a doubt my most in-depth camera test ever. I will be comparing it to the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL, which is widely considered to be the best of the best. The camera has been a love and hate experience for me. When the lighting and conditions are just right, the photos are incredible. But this phone really struggles in two big areas: capturing photos of a subject that is moving and low light. And good freaking luck if the subject is moving and the lighting is bad. It just ends up looking like a total smudgy mess. I feel like Samsung dropped the ball a little bit because the camera hardware itself is great, but this phone could have benefited from some serious camera software updates that it never really received. For the fellow nerds out there, you're getting a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera with a 200 megapixel wide angle camera with 2 times optical quality zoom, 50 megapixel camera with 5 times optical zoom, and 10 times optical quality zoom. Notice I said optical quality zoom. Yeah, they took away the 10 times optical zoom from the S23 Ultra. I never liked this decision, but no way Samsung watches this video, so it is what it is. You also have a 10 megapixel camera with 3 times optical zoom and 12 megapixel selfie camera. Now, enough about the specs, how do the photos and video look after the actual software processing? Well, grab a snack and maybe a magnifying glass, because here's an in-depth test against the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL. And yeah, it's a little bit of a long one. filming 4K 30 on both devices, and I'm just gonna walk around, spin around a little bit. Okay, I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just walking, if I can actually speak English. It's so cold outside right now, at least for Florida. And what I'm gonna start to do is I'm gonna start to just jog a little bit. Okay, I'm just bouncing up and down, nothing crazy. Just bouncing up and down. You get an idea of the stabilization, the audio. There's a little bit of wind, so you should be able to get an idea of the audio and everything as I'm using it. Battery life. I could make this into an entirely separate video, but here is a battery drain and battery charge test. If you appreciate the amount of work this video took me, because it took me many hours to do, show me some love down below and hit that like button, and also consider subscribing for more if you like what I do. Oh, and a comment would help a lot too. I read all of them. Before we do that though, here are the specs. You are getting a 5000 milliamp hour battery. This is pretty decent, but I would always appreciate a larger battery. For reference, the iPhone 16 Pro Max has a smaller battery at 4685 milliamp hours. For charging speeds, I really wish it charged faster. You are getting 45 watts wired, which gives you about 65% in 30 minutes, at least advertised, and 15 watts wireless, and this won't be in the test unfortunately because I don't really wirelessly charge, so I don't have a wireless charger. These numbers are fine, but I have been spoiled with the charging speeds of the newly released OnePlus 13. Things to note: I have used this phone for 1 year, the battery has degraded, which is normal, but if you're buying this phone used, I still feel like this is an entirely accurate test, and it shows how well it holds up over long-term or 1 year or more of use. With all that said, here is a battery drain test and a battery charge test between the iPhone 16 Pro Max, the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL, and the OnePlus 13. All phones are on Wi-Fi only, full resolution and full brightness, and all are using the Chrome web browser for the test. Keep in mind, this is a very important note. This is not how you're going to actually use your phone. The amount of screen on time for normal use is going to be much higher, but this gives you kind of a ballpark idea of which phone can last you longer under a very extreme test. Now, what about the security and the privacy? You are getting an under-display ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, which works every single time and is very, very fast. One thing to note is that if you have a screen protector, it will be a hit or miss experience. I would constantly have issues registering my fingerprints and unlocking my phone the first try when using a screen protector. One trick I learned was to lick my finger prior to registering the fingerprint. This helped, but it still didn't fix it entirely. So I decided to remove the screen protector, and to be honest, I've had zero issues since then. You also get face unlock, which works just fine. It's decent when you have good lighting, but if it's dark, good luck. This isn't even on the same level, ni on the same anything as the iPhone. Also, it isn't secure like the iPhone or even the Pixel devices. You can use it to get into your phone, but you can't use it for banking apps or any app that would require security authentication. So for that reason, it's pretty useless to me. I would just stick with the fingerprint sensor because it's quick, very reliable, and it just works. If you're coming from an older Samsung phone, this section will be very, very important to you, and that's the performance. I know, as a longtime Samsung user, Samsung has had a bad reputation with their phones getting laggy with time. This is not the case for the S24 Ultra. It feels just as fast as the day I took it out of its box a year ago. It comes with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, which is a 4nm chip, Adreno 750 GPU, which is very powerful, and like I mentioned in the beginning, 12 gigabytes of pretty fast RAM. The SSD you have has great write speeds and read speeds as well, which almost no one ever mentions in the reviews. I will be doing a full gaming and thermal test a little later in this video, so you can see how it handles tasks that require more CPU and GPU processing. But for now, just for the heck of it, let's see how long it takes to boot up. With all that performance packed into this device, we all know it is most likely going to be fast. But how fluid is it? I think more people need to do fluidity tests. This is something that has become a common test in pretty much all of my reviews. It gives you an idea of how well optimized the software is with the hardware. And we already know the hardware of Samsung is great. Here is a test opening up common applications on the Pixel 9 Pro XL and the S24 Ultra. Please note that all animations on both devices have been set to 0.5x, and I have closed out all applications so nothing is stored into its memory until the second round of opening applications in the test. Now, what about the software? Well, with the S24 Ultra, Samsung has promised 7 years of security updates. So if you're getting this phone now, you have 6 years left. Samsung has also been very good and consistent with monthly regular updates. So if you want a phone with the latest security updates and software optimizations, the S24 Ultra is great. What about some of the unique software features that you can only find on the S24 Ultra? Here are a few of my favorites. So Samsung offers a lot of cool software features with their devices, and one of the things you can do is use artificial intelligence, especially in your gallery application. So here's a photo of my wife and I in Disney, and I'm going to try to do this all in one cut. That way you don't get any idea that I'm trying to fix the results or I'm trying to edit out the bad parts. If there are any mistakes or glitches, you're going to see it right here in real time. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to rotate this photo slightly. And you'll notice that there's some gaps that are made by me rotating it once I get the camera to focus. And what AI is going to do is it's going to fill in those gaps with what it predicts should be there. So I'm going to hit generate. It's going to take a few seconds. We're going to see how it does. It should be fairly simple because it is basically pavement and a little bit of a building there on the left. But, oh, okay. Let's try that again. You see, these are the kinds of things that I want you to see. It doesn't always work as smoothly as I want. So there we go. It worked that time. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this building. And let's see how it did. I think the building looks fine. I mean, it's not perfect. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm trying to zoom in or focus. Come on, buddy. There we go. It's not perfect, but I think that did a good job. Looking at the pavement, it's all right, but if I were to zoom in here, can you guys see that? You can see that, and maybe I'll drop down the brightness a little bit. Let me just drop it down. You can see that you got the gravel, okay, like the pavement here, all the detail there, and then just kind of this smudge. So if you're looking at the photo zoomed out, I think it looks fine. But the second you start zooming in, you are going to notice that it's got a lot of bad detail in there. So that's one way to do it. Now, other than that, you can also edit your photos by removing people in the background. So for example, in this photo of my wife and I want to take out, let's go ahead and let's try to remove these people right here. Okay, let me try to get all these people in there. Their legs and their feet, all that. Come on, get that foot. Okay, I'm going to hold down. I'm going to hit that eraser icon, hit generate. Okay, so as you can see, it actually did a really good job. All things considered, I think that's a great job on that. I'm happy with that. Now, one thing to note is that if you have objects at the edge of the screen, it's very difficult to edit those. So I'll go ahead and I will show you. Let's go ahead and discard that one. And we'll leave those guys there for now. But I want to edit the right side over here. So we're going to zoom in. And I'm going to edit this person right here. And their feet. Maybe we'll get it, maybe not. Okay. And then this person on the edge. You see how it just got her arm? I can't get everything. It's very difficult to do, and I finally got it, but it is very frustrating to get right. But let's see how that does. Let's hit the erase button, hit generate, give it a few seconds. Okay, let's zoom in. So as you can see, I think it did honestly a much better job than I thought. Look at my wife's skirt though. You kind of see it looks a little bit unnatural there on the edges. But again, if you were zooming out and I had these people out like the last time I did the edit, if I were to send this photo to a family member, I don't think they would even zoom in to look at that detail. But if they did, they would see a couple of those artifacts and things that didn't look quite right. But all in all, I think it does a pretty good job. But let's go ahead and try this on something like, and this is a little bit of a funny thing. So I have two cars here. I'm a big Subaru fan for the WRXs, and I notice my brightness is way up, so I'm going to drop it down more. And there's two Subarus right there. And what happens if I want to remove one of them? So let's remove this 2002, maybe an 03 Subaru. Once it goes, let's give it a second. This is taking a lot longer than I thought. Okay, there we go. And let's remove this car. It selected it all well. Looks like I got everything. Let's go ahead and hit that. Hit the erase button like we did before. Hit generate. And then replace it with a car. So this is what I'm talking about, where it's like, did it do a good replacement? I mean, yeah, the replacement, it looks good to me, to my eyes, but I wanted to take the car out of the image and then just replace it with another car. Also, with artificial intelligence from Samsung, if you have an article that you're reading, for example, this is from the Florida Today, and it talks about the cold weather that's recently come in. It's like 50 degrees outside, which for Florida is very cold. Where you might live, it might be a little bit, warmer, but for us, it's a very cold day. And if I was curious to understand what's going on, if I'm using the Samsung browser application, this does not work in Chrome or any other third-party launcher, or I'm sorry, browser, only in Samsung's own browser, which I'm not a huge fan of that, but it is what it is. If you hit this button here, similar to the photos that we were playing with, hit that, and let me get this to, there we go, focus. You can either summarize it, so we'll go ahead and summarize that, and it will give you a summary. You can also make it more detailed by hitting this button here, standard or detailed. So the standard, this is what it will look like. Okay, and detailed, it will provide a few extra details in there. And the cool thing is, like, let's say that you wanted to send this to a friend who didn't speak English, or that friend who spoke Spanish wanted to send it to you and you don't speak Spanish. You can translate this. And I've got it on Spanish, but you can add Portuguese. If you add a language, I think you have to download the vocabulary. But let's go ahead and keep it in Spanish, and right there you got the Spanish translation. And I believe you can also go back to the standard in Spanish, translated. Yep. And there you go. So I think that's a really good tool. I wish it were offered in Chrome and other browsers, but if you do have a Samsung phone, Samsung browsers work very quickly and are very efficient with the battery life, so I still recommend using it anyways, and if you are using it, you're going to get those cool AI features. Here's a video of my friends dancing. I believe it's a traditional Colombian dance. Her name is Sandra, and she's Colombian, and that's Jose. He's actually Cuban. And I was there to record this dance, so that was a fun night. And let's say that I wanted to make this slow motion. So in the Gallery app of Samsung, if you go ahead and hold down your finger anywhere on the screen, notice it turns it into slow motion. Let go, goes back to normal. Slow motion, back to normal. Slow motion, and back to normal. I just think that's a really cool trick. If you were showing something like, I don't know, like water moving, or something with a little bit more detail, and you wanted to show your friends that cool little trick where you can make it slow motion, it gives you a different perspective of looking at your your videos, and I think it just looks really, really cool. Also, Samsung offers the best multitasking in the business, period. I love the way that they implement this. If you take two fingers, you can go up, and you immediately get greeted with your multitasking view and your split screen view. And if we were to choose an application, for example, we were in Pen Up, let's go ahead and choose that. Now you have the top, you got my photos, and you have the bottom, the Pen Up. And if you want to switch this around, you can go ahead and do that, click there. If you wanted to favorite this or save this app grouping, that way you can open this on your home screen, you can do that as well. And if you wanted to change the application, you can go ahead and do that, choose the application that you want. And another cool thing that you can do, like let's say that you have, let's go ahead and close out of that. We have our web browser open right now. What if I wanted to minimize this, not closing it entirely, but still having it on my screen? Whereas the cool trick, if you take your finger from the right down, you can resize it, and now you have a floating widget. And what's cool about this is that you can make it, you can minimize it into one little icon, you can blow it back up, you can change the transparency of it, just like that. Okay. You can also make it into a split screen if you want. Yeah, let's go ahead and full screen that and go back to the floating widget. And you can make it into full screen if you want. So there's a lot of cool things that you can do there. And even if you wanted to, like let's say you had this floating widget right here, you could also still have a split screen. So you got 1, 2, and you got 3. So there's so many cool things you can do with the Samsung software that's built right in. And I don't think any other phone has this kind of level of multitasking. Apple's multitasking is not multitasking in my personal opinion. This is what multitasking should be. And another great thing about Samsung software is sometimes when you want to customize your phone a little bit more, you're kind of forced to go to a third-party launcher like Nova Launcher or Niagara Launcher, or even Smart Launcher are probably the top 3 popular ones out there. And that is a great alternative if you want to customize your device. But with the Samsung software, it gives you an option for themes. So you can find this in your settings. Go ahead and hit that. And you can see down below, you can edit your wallpapers. You can even edit your icons. There's a lot of different icons that you can buy if you'd like to, but there's a lot of free icon packs available. You're always on displays. There's a lot of cool ones that are more like video, always on displays, that are a little bit more interactive. You can find there. And it's just a really good, if you want like the whole package, there's the entire theme right there for your phone. It's a good way to get full customization, which is almost to the level of a third-party launcher without having to change out your launcher. Because something that a lot of people don't talk about, like if I were to go over to my apps, and I wasn't expecting this to turn into a launcher review, but just for an example, let's go to, default apps. I'm trying to steady my camera here, I hit it. And let's go ahead and let's choose Nova Launcher. Okay, so there you go. I got my Nova Launcher open now. Looks great. I'm a big fan of Nova Launcher. Definitely recommend it. But something I've noticed that is if I open my music, close it, go to open another app, it didn't open. And that's because there's a slight lag. And my understanding is coming from the Android software, actually on the Google side. And Google has refused to fix this, that there's something happening to where I can't select the app immediately. So open this up, close it, select it. Did you see that? Open, close it, select it. So that is something that the second I found out that happened, I just stopped using third-party launchers for the most part. So you'll notice that that is not the case if I go over to my apps, default tabs. We'll go back to making it the One UI home. And we'll do the same thing. We'll open up YouTube, close it, open it up again, close it, open up again, close it, open up again, close it. You see, the stock launcher is always going to be always going to be quicker than the third-party launcher. Even though the third-party launcher gives you a lot more customization and options for gestures and things like that, the stock launcher is going to be the stablest form of using your phone. And if Samsung gives you all the customization that you need, that you don't need to go to a third-party launcher, well, then you get the best of both worlds. You get the customization and you get the quickness of being the first-party launcher. So I think that's a really good value for Samsung to include themes into their phones. Now, I say the best for last in my opinion, and that is the Edge panel. This is so incredibly useful for me. And there's a lot of cool things that you can do with it and customize it. I can look right there. I've got a compass right there. And then here's my weather. And here's some apps that I have. And even we talked about earlier about split screen. You see the app group? Boom, right there. Okay, we got the split screen launcher right there. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with the Edge panel, and you can even customize it. So if you go over here, you can add different apps to it. You can go, let's see, how do I, oops, sorry. Here we go, settings. You can add different panels if you'd like to. So there's a panel for clipboard, reminder, tasks, voice changer. I haven't tried that one. I'm not sure what that one exactly is. I'll have to check that one out. Your tasks, the people that you would like to call, like your favorites, and the weather. So that's what I have. You can even go to the Galaxy store and get even more. There are things that you can pay for, which honestly, I don't know if I would. I mean, there's probably enough free on there for you to be occupied, calculators, things like that. I just think it's an incredibly useful tool that I can use where I'm on my screen, I'm doing things. I might need quick access to the weather and I can check it and boom, it's right there. If I need more information, I can go right into the application and it's all right there. So I think it's a very useful software implementation from Samsung. I think OnePlus, actually I know OnePlus has a very similar thing, but I don't find it as useful and as fluid as I do with the Samsung Edge panel, which is just the classic. I believe they were the first ones. It's just a very well implemented software feature that I'm a big fan of from Samsung. And for the last one, I need a whole section on it because it's that cool. Seriously, if you are into customization or anything like that, just get a Galaxy phone. No other phone can compete. With that said, this is all about Good Lock. Good Lock is a terrific application that only Samsung devices have, and it makes it so you can customize essentially every single part or piece of your phone you can change, which is a great thing to have on a first-party launcher. So when going through here, you can see everything you can change there, and there's even more options here. I'm going to go through all of these, maybe not all of them, but probably most of them. Let's talk, but very briefly, I'm not going to spend an hour on this. Let's talk about theme park. Going into theme park, this is where you can edit pretty much all the colors of anything that you want, including your keyboard, all these circle sections here, and your quick panel, which is going to be this guy up here, all of your colors. Going into your icons that we talked about before, and I exited out of it, give me a second. And then also your volume panel. So it's going to be all of these things here that's in the pink, red circles. So it just gives you a really cool way to customize all the colors of your phone, make it, you. Going into Pentastic, we already talked about this, talking about the cursors as well as the sounds that your S Pen makes as it goes in and out of the holder there. And then Wonderland. Now this is a really cool one because if you noticed before in my S8 Plus review, my wallpaper on my screen when I move my phone like this, it looked like it had like a 3D effect. That was the standard on Samsung devices, but they took that away and they put it here. So some people ask me, how do you get that 3D effect on your stock launcher? And that's here. It's Wonderland. So you can create your own wallpaper. We'll choose this one just for an example. And if you do edit, motion effects, and then you can mess around with that if you want, preview it. And you see that? You get that 3D effect all back. So I kind of wish it was stock, but it's still found. So if you need to find it, it is right there in Wonderland. Now going over to Lockstar, this is where you can customize your lock screen. So if we just go ahead and turn this on, you can customize your lock screen as well as your always on display. And you can do things like the clock widget here. You can move it around if you want. All of these things, your notifications, your widgets, like if you're playing music or playing a YouTube video, how that's going to be shown and everything like that. I'm going to reset it because I didn't want to change that. So let me exit out of here. Okay. And then the same thing on your lock screen. You want to change your widgets and where they are. I thought you could. Change the colors of the widgets. You can do that or nothing at all. For this guy, you can change the look of it, make it into an old school watch, maybe change the colors of it. There's other themes that you can choose. And then going back over here, fingerprint sensor, you can add a widget. Okay, so if we wanted to choose like an Apple widget, we can add that. And then it gets added there. Okay. And then I think even this too. Yeah, you can change the look of that. You don't have to show the battery percentage. You can just show the time until it's fully charged. So there's different things that you can do. I'm going to go ahead and reset it because I don't really use it, to be completely honest. I'm going to turn that off. And then going on, we got the Keys Cafe. This is really cool because what you can do is, well, first you got to set your keyboard to the Samsung keyboard. I prefer Gboard, to be completely honest with you. But if you wanted to use the Samsung keyboard, what you can do is you can make your own. You can change the languages, obviously. You can change the way that the keyboard looks. So, for example, if you wanted to edit the different keys that it had that showed up, you can do that. Remove keys that you don't want, don't need, you can do that as well. It's just a way for you to completely stylize your keyboard, and there's a lot of things that you can do with this, and I'm not going to go through each one, but I totally recommend it if you're into customization and you're not very happy with your keyboard. Check out Keys Cafe in Good Luck. Now there's also a thing called Navstar. So if you go into here, a lot of people ask online, how do you remove this hint there? And some people might think, oh, you just hit this right here. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. What you've got to do is actually go to enable extra gesture settings, and then with that, once that's enabled, and this is what I like about the Samsung devices, is that once that you enable things in Good Lock, you actually open up more functionality in your settings. So if you go to display, you're going to see, and let me back out of here because I think I was in there before. Oh, I guess that's it. Okay. In display, you're going to go down over to navigation bar right here. Hit that, and now you have more options. When you hit more options, you have here gesture hint. So if I were to take that off, look what happens to my gesture hint right here. It went away. Now the cool thing about this is that some people might say, oh man, but I want to use circle to search. Still works. Now it just won't appear on your screen. So these are some of the cool things that you can do with the Good Lock application. You can also mess around with the The back gesture indicator, change the colors as well as the colors and everything, which works really well. And then also the sensitivity of your left and your right gestures, and also mess around with the customization of the gesture handle. I just mainly use this to get rid of the hint, the navigation bar right there. I like it. It looks a lot better like this with a clear screen. I think that should be the stock way to do it, but at least Samsung gives you the functionality to do that yourself if you dig far enough into the setting. Now moving on to Home Up, I think this has got to be the most important module to download for good luck. So make sure if you don't use any of these other modules, download Home Up, and I'll tell you why. Because you can actually do a few changes here. So let's start with the home screen. So the home screen grid, if you hit that, you can actually make it more than the stock configuration. So you can make it 7.7 if you want, 6.7, 5.7, or you can make it less if you want to do that as well. So it gives you extra steps to be able to make it so you can put even more things onto your home screen, which makes it very helpful. You can do the same thing with the app screen grid. You can make it 7.7. And the favorites amount, this is awesome. This is your dock. So if you have 7, I think originally when it comes from, if you buy this new, it's going to have 5, I believe. But notice I have 7 down here below, and this is the first party launcher. And that's because I'm using Good Lock, and you can make it up to 9 applications in your dock, which is such an incredible feature. I wish more phones did this. So let's go ahead and hit back. Oh, actually, I think there's more things we can look into here. If you want to loop pages, you can do that, but I like my Google homepage, so I don't do that. Background control, I don't like the blur things going on, so that's why I mainly leave this stuff all turned off. But going back to the folder, now this is another cool thing. So pop-up folder. So let's go ahead and turn this off. I have a few folders here. So if I hit this folder, you see how that shows up, kind of like a full screen. It blurs my background and everything, and this is pretty big. Now, if I do pop-up folder, let's go back and do the same folder. You like that? It looks very, very good. It kind of reminds me of like the Pixel launcher. I think it looks way better. It's way easier if you're using this like one hand and you want to go to this folder. It's showing up here instead of all over your screen where you can't reach it. So I'm not a huge fan of that from other devices. I think OnePlus, their software is like that where it's the full screen. I really like this option where I can do the pop-up folder. It makes it way easier to use. You can also change the grid layout to up to a 7x7 if you want, but I keep it 3x3 to keep it small. That way I can use it with one hand very easily. And you can change the icon grid as well. So the screen grid as well as the icon grid. And there's a couple other settings here that I leave off. So let's go out of here. And if you want to, you can back this up. That way, if you change phones, you can restore it from a backup. And going down here to Task Changer, this is kind of a cool feature. Now, I keep it as list, but if you want to do a slim list, you notice these things right here. So for example, if you go into your task manager, and that's just going into, if you hold down like your home button, you swipe up, that's how it's going to look. Let's go back there. So it normally looks something like this. You guys are familiar with that. But there's a lot of different settings you can do. You can do slim list, vertical list. This is how that looks. Pretty cool. And then stack. This is how that's going to look. So they stack on top of each other in grid. I really, really don't like that, but it's more of like a tablet, iPad kind of style. Where was I? You see, I can't even find my place because I don't like it at all. But we're going to go back to that setting here. Come on. Okay, let's go back to Good Lock. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to keep it as list, but you can also make it like a mini mode. So if you open this up, now they're all little. And they used to do like a carousel function with the old Samsung S8 Plus. I remember I had that where it would go like this, which I really liked, but they took that away. I hope they bring it back one day, but anyways. And also when you swipe up, there's a couple of things you notice here, like a search bar. You can add in your recent apps if you want. I've taken that off. Your app labels if you want. Your recommended apps, I meant, not your recent apps right there. I prefer to have a cleaner look like that. You can turn off your search bar if you want. That way it's not going to show up here. Or just leave it on, and then that way if you need to search for something, you got it right there and you can search for your application, all right? So let's go back into that and then keep going down here. And then everything else I leave as is. I don't really mess with this too often. I can't even remember when I set these two things on, but you can always change those settings if you'd like. There was one other, oh yeah, the center of the currently running app. This is one thing that bugs the heck out of me. So by default, if I were to go like that, it goes to your previous app because it assumes that you want to go to your previous app. To me, it's a little bit of a headache because in my head, it's pulling up all the apps and then I want to swipe to the app that I want. So thankfully, Samsung allows you to change that. So if you hit the center, the currently running app, when I go up, it's going to start with the app I have open, and then I can swipe through to the app that I want. And if I were to turn that off, you see it goes straight to the previous app. So I'm a big fan of that. I love the functionality and the additional settings that Samsung gives us to customize it to exactly how we want to use it. Now moving on to clock face, I don't use this one that much, but once we open it up, I'll show you what it looks like. So they give you a few different options. So as you notice, it's got my wallpaper that I have on my phone, if you didn't remember that. And if you scroll down, there's a few different options that you get for a few things you can do. You can do like a, like a racing gauge, more of like a digital old school. Going up here, you got a little watermelon thing, you got a cat, 3 cats if you really want. I'm a dog person, that's just me. But there's a few other designs that you can do. And then you can save your clocks right here. And in your studio, there's more things you can do as well to get some additional clock faces. So I think that's a pretty cool function. It's not something I use, but I definitely wanted to at least highlight it. If it will go back to my... That's annoying. I definitely wanted to at least highlight it that in case you guys wanted to use that. Going on to Quick Star, I had this turned off, but if you wanted to turn this on, this is going to style your own quick panel. And so if I were to do this, you can make it green if you want. So if you scroll in here, you can edit that. So it should edit, you see that, turns all into green. Okay. Make it yellow if you want, turn that on. There you go. And I'm not a huge fan of that. I just like the default, but you could add your own colors, make it blurry, make it not blurry. There's a lot of different things you can do. Add your own image for the background. There's a whole lot of things that you can do if you really want to. I'm just not that into messing with this because my eyes see this very clearly. And for me, it's all about functionality over form. So if it doesn't make my life easier, I don't install it. So, but you might be different. So you might want to stylize this. So there you go with those settings. I'm going to go ahead and I will turn this off at the end. But you got your clock settings as well. Show the dates, the PM, AM, show seconds, the different positions you can do it in, and there's a lot of interesting ways you can do that as well. But you've also got like your indicator icons. So these are the things that are going to show up here at the top of the screen. So if you don't really care about your mobile data, you can turn that off if you want. I do like having that to make sure that I'm actually using data when I'm outside. And you can also, like your alarms and stuff, turn it off and on. Airplane mode, if you have that on or off, you can make it so you don't see it up at the top, as well as Wi-Fi and all these things, Bluetooth, all of these things, your VPN, all of that. So I think that's very useful. It kind of cleans things up there a little bit. And if you wanted to, you can mess with the color palette to more notification icons. I don't really mess with it. Again, this stuff isn't useful to me, but if you want to, you can do that, as well as change the quick setting button grid and mess with the bar right there to get it just how you want it. So not my thing, but it might be your cup of tea, so definitely wanted to show you. Now moving on to edge lighting. This is something I do use and I do very much appreciate from Samsung. And that's because when I get notifications, I constantly miss them. They show up, I'm not looking at my screen or it doesn't call my attention, and I miss a notification. But with edge lighting, what you can do is when you get a notification, for example, showing like an email right there for how are you, you can choose things that happen. You can make it rain, make it snow. It feels like it's snowing outside because it's that cold here in Florida. Stars, whatever it is that you want to do, you can change the color of those things. You can pretty much do whatever you want to. When you get a notification, that's what's going to happen. And this is very useful if you don't want to lose notifications and it might be on your desk, you're not noticing things. This is going to light up. You can even make it so it's show bright even when the screen is off. Very useful. And you can do a lot of different things like double tap to open the app, which gives you additional functionality with the notification itself, and to prevent swipe down, which prevents pop-up windows from running by swipe down action. So it gives you a little bit of a notification coloring, customization, as well as additional features there for your notifications and how you receive them and how you interact with them. So I think this is a very useful feature for at least myself when I'm receiving notifications that I'm not noticing. Very useful. Now going over to Life Up, I'm not exactly sure why they break these two things up, but I think they just categorize it as in these are the things that are more of like the customization, and these are more of the things that help you with the functionality of your device. So there's one I'm going to talk about that's very big, which is one-hand operation. We'll get to that. It is my favorite thing by far out of all the Samsung devices and functionalities that I have. Now, getting into Nice Shot, I don't use this one a lot, but one thing I find useful is the add delete button. And this is great because a lot of times when I take screenshots, I don't mean to take that screenshot. Sometimes I'm trying to do something with my phone, I take an accidental screenshot, and this way I can delete it just right there, instead of having to go into my photos, delete the incorrect screenshot that I took and all that. So very useful feature right there, very good setting. The disable crop snapping, I've never dealt with this, so if this is an issue for you, you are able to disable that. And then selfie video, I never take selfie video with my phone, but if you're screen recording, I guess there's some additional functionality that you can do there. Double selfie video size, which is interesting. I don't deal with this at all. I don't never have to. The do not disturb during screen recording. This could be very useful because you might be doing a screen recording, maybe for YouTube, for your YouTube channel, and doing like a tutorial or something like that. And you might be getting some notifications from people and something might pop up that you go, oh man, now I'm going to blur that out. So this could be useful for you in case you get those notifications while recording your screen. So Nice Shot is a very useful thing. Going over to Noti Star, this is another thing that I do not deal with at all. It's just not a big thing for me, but going into it, it helps you better customize your notifications that you receive. There's a filter list that you can set up, so you can add a filter for certain like keywords, and you can name your filter, and then different applications that you have. So it does help you organize your notifications a little bit better, as well as going down here. It stores your notifications. So this one is stored by default by 30 days, but you can change that to no limit, 7 days, 6 months, or a year. So if you're really big into your notifications and you find Android notifications or even iPhone notifications difficult to manage, and you want something that's going to give you the most functionality to manage it the way that you want to, Noti Star and Good Luck is going to be for you. Personally, for me, it's not something I use, so I'm going to turn that back off. Now moving on to Nice Catch. Now again, this is not something I use either, but if we turn it on, it gives you increased visibility into the things that are happening on your phone. For example, if something makes a noise and you know what that was, it will show that in its history, as well as vibration, the ringer mode history when was changed, as well as the call mode history, the medium volume, the toast history. I'm not sure exactly what that is. That's interesting. We've got the detecting commercials, screen wake up history, as well as if any settings change, the history of that. So there's a lot of different things that you can look through. For me, I never need to use this, but maybe if you're sharing your phone a lot with somebody and want to understand what settings were changed, or if you have a whole lot of applications that are sending you random notifications or different vibrations that you set up and you've forgotten about, you can look into here to see your history and try to figure out what is going on with your phone. So I think it is a very useful tool. It's just not one that I use. So we'll keep going. And you'll notice a lot of these I don't use, but we got to my favorite one. That is the one-handed operation. This is by far the best thing, in my personal opinion, that Samsung offers. And every phone I go to, whether it's OnePlus, Google, whatever other phone I go to, this is the one thing I miss, and that is this guy right here. So I'm not going to do a whole tutorial on how to set this up. It did take me a little bit, and I might do that in the future. But to give you an idea, you're setting up the left handle and the right handle, and you're able to set up different actions. So for me, when I pull in, I have these quick actions right here. So I have different applications as well as folders here that I can open up and go to. And the cool thing is I don't even have to lift up my finger. I can just pull it in. I move it around like this. I lift up and it goes into that. And I can do the same thing with an application. Open my music, go over here, go back to, I don't know, Reddit, go over here, go back to YouTube, over here, music, Hue. We'll go to Chrome, music, YouTube, music, Hue, Reddit, Chrome. This is by far my favorite thing about this phone, because you could rock a screen where it's basically blank and you can keep all your applications right here that you need, and they're right there, and it doesn't impede you for the back gestures or anything like that. It's not buggy, it's very fluid. I'm a big fan of this feature. I wish more phones offered something like this. If you have a Samsung device and you don't know what one-handed operation is, you're missing out. It's one of the best things about a Samsung device that Samsung offers. Now, going to routines, this is not something I use a lot, and honestly, I probably should use it a little bit more than I do. But let's open that up. And if you're really smart with like the if, then that kind of statements, you're gonna love this module in Good Lock. They give you a ton of different things. You can even do like a touch macro, so you can record it as well as set that up. And you can do where it's like, if I open Maps, run this macro. If I open Music, run this macro. You can do location based. So if I get to work, put on Do Not Disturb and send a message to my wife that I've arrived at work. There's so many cool things you can do with this functionality. You can have it call people, send messages, depending on your location. I talked about the touch macro. Control arrow keys with the S Pen, so you can do different things with the S Pen, which I love that they add S Pen functionality to this module. And then fingerprint for websites, so maybe you have something where it's you unlock it with a fingerprint and then it goes to a certain website. Okay, so it may be a little bit more secure. I'm not talking any funny business. It could be banking apps and things like that. Other than that, you use your imagination, I guess. Low battery announcement. So if your battery gets to a certain level, it will read you aloud that text saying, hey, charge your battery or whatever. You can change that message as well. These are just recommended ones. You can go online right now, and on Reddit, there's a ton of people that go really deep into the Routines Plus for Samsung. You can see what kind of setups they have developed and created, and just copy and paste them essentially to what you have in your phone. And they are so cool. It's just a great way to make your phone a tool, and that's what this phone is. The S24 Ultra is a tool. It's like a Swiss Army knife of things, as you can see. And there's even a couple things that we need to talk about still. And think about everything that I've talked about. This thing is amazing. Now, getting into multi-star. Now, this is huge because we talked about the multitasking with Samsung devices, and this gives you additional functionality with multitasking. So first, you got the quick launch of the multi-window. I don't have the gestures. I don't have the buttons down here, but if you're using the buttons, you can do a long press on the recents key to quickly access the multi-window. For gestures, it's 2 fingers up to do that. Okay, so that's a really good feature to remember. And then the multi-window screen zoom. Now, one thing I notice is, like, especially with my Pixel devices or OnePlus devices, when I'm trying to split screen view, sometimes it's very zoomed in and I can't see everything and I got to zoom it out and kind of move it around. And it's very uncomfortable to the point where I just don't bother using it. The cool thing is right here, you can hit this box right here, hit split screen view. And when you go into split screen, let's go ahead and open up, like, I don't know, Apple Music. And we'll just open up a recent one here. We'll just do Chrome. You can see it's a little bit zoomed out, so I can see more content on the screen. And it's a lot more comfortable to use split screen, and it makes it so it's actually usable because I can see everything very clearly because it's a little bit of a zoomed out view. So let's go back to the Good Lock module. So I really appreciate that. Now going over here to the remove blur effect on adjusting split view. If I were to, let's see, just to give you an example. So if you notice how I adjust this, you see how that blurs? Okay. If I were to turn that off, let's turn that off. Now it doesn't blur. Personally, I like it with the blur. I think it looks a little bit cooler, but if you don't want it, oops, kind of glitching out, you don't need to use it. Okay. And then going over here, we got the prevent pop-up view minimization. I don't leave this on because when I have the pop-up view like this and I want to minimize it, I want to have that option to minimize it. So I like keeping that open. Let's go ahead and full screen that. And then you notice I'm swiping from the right corner. That's where you get it right here. It's a set pop-up gesture size right there. It is set to on. And you notice here, it's dragging from the right corner. You can make it larger or smaller. I don't recommend doing it too large because then it might be too sensitive. And it can be annoying at times, so I kind of do it right there. And then all you got to do is drag from the corner, and then there you go. You got your pop-up view. Full screen it, boom, right there. I love this. I think Samsung knocked it out of the park with multitasking, and they really did think this one through with the multiple different settings that you can do with the multi-star. So really good job on that one, Samsung. Now moving on to Registar, this is something I don't use because when I go into my settings, I'm used to this layout. I know where to find things because I've used this for many years now. But If you're coming from another phone that you've used, like, I don't know, OnePlus or Google, and you're used to that layout and the order of settings, if you go into your Good Lock module here to register, there we go. Customize your settings, home, menu and order. Look, all those settings right there. You can move it around if you want. You can turn them off. If you don't care about the themes, you can turn that off. You can make it to the top if that's something that's very important to you. But I think it's great that Samsung gives you this customization that no phone, to my understanding, offers you. So I think that's really cool. You can also do like the settings change history. Then going over to Sound Assistant, this includes a few things that you can increase the customization. Go ahead, yes, of the sound. So let's go ahead and do custom. So you can move the panel where you want it. So like when I'm doing the rocker bumpers, you can kind of see it. Let me do the right hand. You see how that moved? So you can change how that shows up if you really want to. You can change the panel a little bit, add functionality to it, the Bluetooth metronome, which is kind of cool. I've actually never tried that before. Actually, I don't want to get copyrighted. I won't put the music on, but you might be able to try that out. That's kind of cool. The app volume, a lot of different functionality. As you can see here, if we were to go into there, those are those settings that we just changed. And like I said, these are things that you're not going to find on any other device. This might be completely useless to you. And to me personally, it is useless. I don't use this module in Good Lock, but for somebody who's like a huge customization person, this could be something that's very important to you. So definitely something that you can do. And then you can also change the colors as well. Look at that. They got a lot of different lighting effects that you can do, and different themes that they have already presets you can do, or you can add your own theme. You can customize it to make it exactly what you want. Very cool module, to be completely honest with you. And then the individual app volumes, you can go in and you can go to each app. Maybe there's an app that you know is a little bit quieter, maybe like a game or something like that, and you want to make sure that the volume is boosted a little bit. You can do that as well. So I think that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. And then going down here, leave this stuff on, change the volume. Yeah, I mean, you could do that too. So select a step on the media slider to adjust the rate at which the volume is changed. I leave it as standard, but if you wanted to mess this around, that way when you adjust the volume, the rate of it changes. You see that? So if we move it to 1, it's going to change a lot smaller. But honestly, mid-size, yeah, I can see how that's useful. But I just leave it, the default 10 is fine with me. Oh, didn't mean to do that. We got a fingerprint sensor test right there. Okay, we'll keep going. You can control the music with the volume keys if you want. Different functionality you can see right there in terms of like going to the next track, previous track. Favorite media app, you can select that if you'd like. And then Bluetooth metronome, you can actually, and I'm not going to go into here, but you can customize that a little bit as well. And there's different vibration patterns that you can do. You can make your own vibration patterns according to your ringtone. Isn't that cool? So you can make your own beats with the vibrations. It will record you down here below. We'll go ahead and hit stop, and you can play it. And I don't know if you can hear it, but it's vibrating in the pattern that I did. And you can clear it if you want. You can make it so you can save it, make that into a notification vibration. So I think that's really cool. Maybe you have a ringtone that you want to use and you want to do a custom vibration to that, different beat to it. I mean, what other phone lets you do that? That's insane. So we'll keep going here. Let's see, vibration patterns, we did that. I don't really mess with this at all, but you know, it changes the vibration patterns to make it sound like a concert hall if you want. You can change, now this is interesting. I've never tried this before. Let's go ahead and change this on. Let's do a sci-fi horror, why not?
This is a sound test. This is a sound test.
Oh my.
This is a sound test. This is a sound test.
Okay, so you get an idea. You get an idea. So you can change your voice if you want. That's kind of cool. I never tried that before. And then the multi-sound, where you can play audio at the same time from other apps. I don't know why you would do this. This would drive me crazy, but if you wanted to do like Apple Music and YouTube Music, and then like the YouTube app, you can play 3 songs at once if you're really that crazy. I am not, so I leave it off. But there might be a real reason why people actually want to do that. Maybe they got like drums from one app and a guitar from another app and vocals from another app, and they just kind of want to mix it together. I'm not sure. It's not for me, so I just kind of leave it. I don't know why it keeps doing that. I just don't really mess with that too much. And for the Edge Touch, I don't mess with this at all because I already have the one-handed operation, so I don't want to mess with any functionality because this is the thing that I use the most. So if you want to look into that, you can. I'm not going to spend time on that because I've never used it before. In the camera assistant, you can change your camera settings if you'd like. Again, you can see it's not downloaded because I've never used it before. And that's really it. So this section probably took, probably half an hour. It feels like I've been talking. I'm already starting to lose my voice over this section. But you can see just how many things you can do. And I just went through each section briefly. There's whole YouTube videos on Theme Park. There's whole YouTube videos on Pentastic. There's so many things you can do. So I encourage you, if you have a Samsung phone now, go through these things. You'd be amazed at the things that you don't know you can do with your phone. And if you're looking for a phone that has greater customization, there is no better phone than Samsung. If you don't want to use the third-party launcher because it glitches out sometimes and you just want to use the first-party launcher at all times, this is the phone to buy. Good Lock is where it's at. I love this application. Some of you watching are gamers, but let's face it, we have our PCs, our PS5s, our Xboxes. The S24 Ultra has some serious power. But how can it handle gaming? Here is an in-depth test of lighter and heavier mobile games, Xbox Game Pass, cloud gaming, and Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, and GameCube, and PlayStation 2 emulators. I will be playing each for about 5 minutes and take temperature readings throughout the test so we can see how it handles heat. If you appreciate the level of detail and care that I have given this review because I've given it so much, please hit that like and subscribe down below, and let's get started with the test.
There's a duel. Here I go. It's my turn. I draw. This card will do. I'm summoning a monster.
Oh no. It's way too early for this. It's like 4:15 a.m. I do know how to play this game, but it's for the odds if I yeah, let's go now. Okay, that's enough. It's a pretty good deck. I haven't played Yugen in a while. I think it's been like not sure. It's like 4 months since I played this game. Fun game though. I enjoyed it. Get wreck, my friend. Keep going. Let's do this one.
Hello there. Grown into a duel. Here I go. It's my turn. I draw.
Now I gotta remember all these card effects. It's been a long time since I played this. Let's see.
I'll set this monster.
Here we go. It's my turn. I draw. Here I go. I set up in attack position.
No, I did not think this would work out very well for her.
My set card. I'm activating a continuous cut.
From my hand, I activated a quick step out. Here I come. I attack with my monster.
That's fine. You can launch it out. Go right ahead.
Start over yet.
My monster's effect increase. My turn to
Looks like it's my turn. I draw.
Do this one do it again. Yeah, let's do this one. I guess I can do this. I'm gonna treat them anyway, so let's go. There we go. And I know it's been past 5 minutes, so I'm gonna finish up this round. Pretty long.
All right. XC summon.
Remember, I took this and I take care of the monster as well. And then just on myself. Get that guy. There we go.
My monster's effect activates.
Alright,
Once this effect activates,
Oh, I should have. Oh man, I'm an idiot. Okay, I forgot about that. That, what do you call it? That effect. I could have brought that guy back. I was so dumb. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so tired. That's okay. We're fine. Okay. Surrender. No, we're gonna win this.
that ends my turn.
You haven't seen anything yet. I draw. Thunder Sorcerer, you're on.
The thing is that whenever I do these things, I have to do them before work. But I normally go to work pretty early. So, this is why I sound like I didn't know YouTube channel. But since I didn't get the flip in there, I need to do this before work. But it is really.
Now's my chance. My set
I'm
card.
gonna take
I'm activating a trap card.
Oh, that's nothing I can't handle.
is that okay?
Now's my chance. I'm activating a trap
There we
card.
go. Look at that. Let's take another one.
I'll play this.
Okay, I'm starting to remember.
I'm activating a trap card. Watch this. I special summon a monster.
We'll do some more. Get some more.
My set card. I'm activating a continuous trap. Here I go.
There we
It's
go.
my high draw.
Okay. What is this I do? Let me do that. Okay. So we will get back this one. And then that.
Let's go. The turn.
Bye-bye.
Attack you directly.
No matter how dark things get, I can shine through.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot it out that way because it's already past 8 minutes. I guess the computer can play better than I can at 4:21 in the morning. There we go, yeah, it's gonna be over here in a second. Alright, then we're gonna take a temperature reading. Okay. You move. Okay, let's take a temperature reading. And I'm just gonna go around here. It looks like 84.7. Whatever the highest reading I get is what I'm going to use. 84. So it looks like 84.7. Oh, there's a 9.9. Okay, we'll use 84.9 for that. So it did go up a little bit. Okay, we're gonna go to the next game here. A little bit. Okay, I gotta remember the controls here. Spam. Okay, I want them to take C. The C is one to take them off on.
Capturing Alpha.
Oh.
Yes, C.
Okay, I took C. Yeah, you see, with C, it's going to hang around here and just take him out with my. Oh, I hit the button. Oh, nice little lag there. You see that? I wonder if Phil Cam will show that. He just kind of lagged around. Okay. A lot of times these guys are bots, but I don't think that guy was a bot. I gotta get my fingers in the right spot.
Advised, Alpha second gun spotted. Losing A.
Ooh, okay, this guy's a try hard here. There's a little slide here. He's probably using a controller. I use a controller sometimes, but again, I just don't game that much. I used to before. I don't know why I'm using an M16 on the shipment, which is kind of funny. I might change my loadout just for the heck of it.
Lost the lead.
Holy crap, I forgot how to change my loadout. Okay, I'll just wait for that.
Positions. Lost Charlie.
Oh, the dog's got me. Oh my gosh.
Enemy airstrike incoming. Careful. Lost the center gun.
Yeah, we are not doing well this round. Okay, come on, buddy. Alright, let's see what I got here. I got. Oh, this is horrible.
Capturing Bravo.
Okay, we really lost that.
That's
Okay.
not over yet. Ready up.
Now again, guys, the point of this is not for you to. It doesn't matter if I win or not. This is just to see how the phone heats up. So whether I go 0-20 or 100 or 100 and 0, it's not going to matter. Oh, that was funny.
Taking A. Enemy taking
See if I can get this guy over there.
Be advised. Alpha second gun spotted. Enemy down.
Sometimes I'll spawn like behind you. Ah, I keep getting the buttons wrong. Okay, it is what it is.
Enemy airstrike.
This shotgun is funny though.
Capturing C. Enemy taking Alpha. UAV online.
Wow, that was cheeky. Okay, okay.
Reloading. Cover me. Enemy taking Bravo. Lost the lead.
That's, I'm getting old. My hands starting to hurt. My wrist is starting to hurt like this. It's been a while since I played this. Already 15 minutes. Okay, so after this game, we'll take temperatures. The way these guys are playing, it's not gonna be long. Wow, that was embarrassing. Okay, they got the little doggies here. Man, you know, he's pretty good. Look at that. Not bad, not bad. Dante, isn't he?
Lost the center gun. Trio.
I got one kill, finally.
C.
Oh my goodness.
Enemy airstrike incoming.
The dog was just sitting there. Oh my gosh.
Spotted. Lost the lead.
Oh, it is what it is. There we go, I got some kills there.
Enemy shock RC is coming.
Okay, so that's over. Let's go ahead and take a temperature reading. I find if I do it towards the camera, I get the higher readings. So it's 90.6 was the highest. Yeah,
Enemy in sight.
it is the highest we've seen. So we'll go ahead and take that, 90.6. And then we'll go to the next one here. Okay, so for any of the Nintendo people watching my channel, I own all these games, so don't freak out on me. Let's see if I have a load state here. Load, I do. There we go. What are we doing here? Do I have the sound on here in settings? Audio, I guess I took it off. Okay. Okay, we'll play this about 5 minutes or so. I know I'm not going to entirely active, it looks like we got 18 minutes, but I'm fine here. I can use the controller, I can use the on-screen control for this game. But when we get to the later games, we're doing GameCube as well as PlayStation 2, and I'll use the controller for that. Might use the DS too, we'll see. Alright, I'm gonna speed this up. I'm gonna turn this down though, because that sounds horrible, and we'll just play this way. I cannot play this game at one-time speed anymore. I used to be able to when I was a kid. Of course, I actually had this on my Game Boy Color. Well, no, I had it on my Pocket Game Boy. I had the Pokemon Red, my Pocket Game Boy. This is the Game Boy Advance version, but it's essentially the same thing with a lot of other things added, but the base is the same. But yeah, I mean, I can't believe I was able to play that game while I was under shock. What is going on? Why did I do that? Okay, I'm so tired, guys. I'm sorry. Gotta go tackle. But I cannot believe I used to play it at one times. That is just crazy. It's so slow. Do you guys play Pokemon at all? Does it still feel that slow? Because it is pretty slow to me. We shall leave this guy. Okay, see ya. Pikachu, hello, goodbye. Okay. And then normally what I would do is I would switch them around to level them up, but because I'm just doing this for the tutorial's sake, I'm just going to use Ivysaur as much as I can. Because again, the point is just to play the game. It doesn't matter if I'm good or bad at it, right? So let's keep going here. Oh, don't be paralyzed. Go. Come on now. There we go. Send out another one. Goodbye. Another one, and good. Oh, maybe not. Okay, Pikachu. Oh, this is not gonna be good. I don't think my app knows anything. It knows teleport. It's so bad. Okay, I mean, so if you didn't know this, like Psychic in these games are way OP. So with Abra, you make it do a Kadabra. You can make it an Alakazam, but you have to find a way to trade it. But it's really overpowered, so I always get my Abra in there. And I level them up, and it pretty much takes everybody out. Okay, we'll go down here. I think I have running shoes too, which makes it. Oh, I forgot I have the water thing yet. Okay, there we go. Okay, so where was I with these guys? Okay, I'm not lose again because now I'm not paralyzed. Razor Leaf, see ya. Okay. Then we got this guy with a Spearow. I never use Spearow at all. I wonder if it's good. Let's keep going. What's this evolve one? Is it Fearow? Oh my goodness, it's been so long since I played these games. I'm pretty much playing this game only for the test because I'm telling you guys, I did not play video games as much as I did before. I used to play all the time. It's interesting when you get older, life gets more busy. I can't speak English. I do have a Spanish channel, by the way, so I sometimes my English goes away from me, but it gets busier, and you just can't play anymore. It's a bummer. Oh, come on, don't poison me. Poisoning in this game is so annoying. I'd rather be paralyzed than poisoned. Okay. Excuse me. I'm so tired. I'll probably say that a few more times today. 34, 35. I gotta get going here. I'm gonna work out, and I'm gonna head off to work. Because YouTube is not my full-time job. For my work, I gotta go in early, and it's gonna be a very busy day today, so that'll be an interesting one. But you know, we all got our busy days here. Mirino. Come on, buddy. There you go. Goodbye. Okay. And we got that. Goodbye, Oddish. Oh, I'm just gonna be goodbye. There we go. Okay, what's this little item here? Oh, that's the other thing too. I never use those items at all. I guess I'll walk through this one. Oh, that's right, because the Snorlax there. Okay, and over there's Lavender Town. I'm starting to remember. It's been so long. Can I do anything up here? I thought there was a. What's this thing got? Oh, I can get this. No, don't care. Oh, this guy's gonna give me my Silph Coat or whatever that thing is. That was it XP share? I think it is maybe. Or no, that's Item Finder. But there's one that gives you XP share. That's something I really need for mine. That way I can play with my Ivysaur, just get everybody. And then might speak to my other Pokemon here. That one is done. And then oh wait, 32. I thought it was 36. Interesting. I did not know that. Wow, I can't believe I forgot that. I thought it was 36. Maybe it's Charizard. 32. Interesting. Okay. Let's heal up here. And by the time I go out here, it's like we're gonna switch off to another game. So let's see what else can I do. I don't want to go on that boat yet. In case I want to come back, if I ever have any free time, I'll leave that there because I want to get everything here first to level up. Okay, so we're gonna leave it here. I'm gonna go ahead and save that. As soon as we'll come back to it one day. Let's take the temperature reading. To my hand, it does feel warmer. It's like 84.79. Okay. 9 was the highest. Let's see if I could get me. It seems to be the highest. Okay, so we will take that reading there. And let's go to the next game here. So that was, we did Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is a little lighter, Call of Duty, which is a little bit heavier. Then we did Game Boy Advance, which, you're emulating, so it could be a little bit heavier. Now let's do Nintendo DS. Okay. Oh, I thought I had one saved here. We will see. Let me see. Diamond. And do I have a saved version? Oh, maybe I don't. Okay, that's fine. Let's go home, see mom. Or I go downstairs, see mom. You know, it is funny. I wasn't born with Spanish. My parents don't speak Spanish. I learned Spanish, and because I speak it with my wife, we're a Spanish household. It's interesting that I feel like I've become smarter in a lot of ways, but English is not one of them. And I'll actually forget certain words, which is really, really interesting. What am I supposed to do here? Oh, I think I put in the bag. Am I supposed to do that? So, what did mom say here? Oh, okay. That was it. Yeah, but it's interesting that I've actually forgotten a lot of words. There's like sometimes I'll be talking in my head, I'll think of the word in Spanish, and then I'll almost like stutter, or it will take me a bit to think, okay, how do you say that in English? It's the weirdest thing. I have brains in Spanish now. It's just weird. I failed Spanish too, so it's not something I ever thought that would happen to me. And I learned it. So if I can learn it, you can too. Todo se puede. Everything can happen, right? Okay. So we got about 5 seconds here. Again, I'm not really, 5 minutes is not the most time to get through this game, but I'm just trying to get a temperature reading of everything. So if you're playing, all these games at once, it's going to be a little bit different than if you're playing only one. But let's do a temperature reading. I feel like the phone is cooled down even. 81.8, I think was the highest. Yeah, so I think 81.8 is what we're gonna keep. Yeah, 81.8. So we'll keep that. Okay. And then we'll go on to the next one here. This will be the DS, and we will be doing cloud gaming here as well. And actually, let's just do cloud gaming right now, because if not, I'm going to forget about it like I did in the previous version of this video. So let's see, cloud gaming. Okay, and let's just play, I don't know, we can play Forza. Forza's fun. Oh, so it isn't, is it connected? Should be connected. Oh, there we go, now it's found it, okay. Not sure why it wasn't working on my DS emulator. Oh, another one. There we go. It's at 31, so I'll play until like 36 or so. Doing my best to get this done before work, because I know how to upload this video, which is gonna be a little bit longer, and then I'll add it to my timeline to edit. I think my video right now is sitting at almost 2 hours. I've never done a video this long, so it could completely flop, or it can be a success. I guess that's YouTube, right? You just never know. But it is what it is, so. I got my Subaru here. I actually have I daily drive a Subaru, not an STI. I always wanted to, but I never was able to find a clean one. But I've got a WRX, which is my daily driver. I say daily driver, it's my only car. It's my wife's car. So I like playing with Subarus. They're not the fastest cars, actually. If I were to race, which I don't, by the way. But I'm actually I'm not being like sarcastic. I don't race my car. But if I were to, I think a minivan could beat me. They got those like 10 speed. Is it even more now? But those little automatic transmissions are insane. And I got a stick shift, so Subarus are not fast cars. They're speedy, but if anything, they're just fun to drive. So we'll drive around here. I don't know if we'll do any races or not. We'll just drive around. Maybe we'll do a race here. Or we'll start a race. I don't think we'll finish it. Oops. There we go. I quit drifting everywhere. Okay, I'll start a race again. Next. Solo. And let's see how bad I do. This is a race, right? I thought it was. Yeah, whatever. Come on. Oh my gosh, I regret doing this. Okay, sorry, race event. And we'll see if we finish it or not. I'm not too good, but we'll see how I do. Unless I go through the car noise. I can barely hear the car noise in this one. I did jump on the runway, okay. Where are we going here? Oh, hello. There we go. And this is pretty quick.
Fans after the stadium going wild. What's it gonna take to beat this superstar? Let's see. What else you got?
Okay, so 6:35 I think, from what I can see on the camera. I'll do it a little bit longer. We'll see if we can finish this race. If I mess up real bad, I'll stop it. We'll go to the next one, because really I've overplayed. We got motorcycles. Oh, I should have been looking at my map. Oop, too far. Badge of honor. Okay. Okay. Oh, I should have stopped at 69%. LOL. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna keep it like that. And take a temperature reading. 82. Oops, 75 now. You know, it's really holding well. It's doing good with temperature. The S24 Ultra does very well with the Snapdragon chip. There we go, again 83.4 was the highest I thought. Okay, so let's go ahead and get out of here, and we're gonna go into, oh, where did, no, that is what we need to do. Let's play some GameCube. I think this should be, if it doesn't work, I will just use my on-screen controls. I thought I had it mapped though. It might not be mapped. No, it's not mapped. Okay, so I'll just do this. There we go. You guys can see the Wednesday when I was so cool. So cool. Here's my right. But whatever reason so that everything will be good. Just keep doing the and layout is looking to be good. We want to more. So you can do that layout. Hello, hello. You need to yeah. Go to the course. Try doing this there. Just easy. Yeah. Okay. Keep on the sword. There's not possible. Okay, let's get back on. Okay. Oh man, my phone just dropped. I think I just broke my OnePlus 12. That's so frustrating. Oh my gosh. What a morning. Alright, this is almost over with. Here, you know what? I'm gonna put this, I'm gonna go check on my phone. I think it broke. What a bummer. Wow, I am blown away. I don't think it broke. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna take it out to make sure, but
it took a full-on front. It was on top of on my camera mount. Look at that. So this is not the point of the video, but it fell face down. That's insane. It did scratch. Oh, you know what? Did it break? No. No, it's got a scratch on it. It's got a nice little scratch there on the screen now, which is a bummer. But it didn't crack. That's insane. Okay, we're gonna keep playing. But that is incredible. Good job, OnePlus. Got some strong glass there. Okay, so hit 50, 45. It does feel like it's heating up a little bit. Let's get a temperature reading. And after this, I'll show you guys how it fell with my, I'll take this off the mount and I'll show you. 86.7. Okay, I think that's the highest, 86.7. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the last round here. So it has heated up a little bit, but nothing too crazy. And I'm just gonna play the OG Battlefront. Gosh, this game was so good. I used to play this with my brother all the time growing up. This was so much fun. Wow, I am blown away that it didn't crack. When I show you guys where it was, you're gonna be amazed that it didn't crack. I'm thankful, but I'm a little shocked there wasn't any damage, because look at this case I have on it. It's some cheap like eBay case that I paid like 20 bucks for. It's not thick at all. That's crazy. And we can just do instant actions to replay. Let's do Hawk. Hawk is fun. Okay. And I'm definitely play as Rebels because I miss, oh man, that noise is so nostalgic. Definitely Rebels. I want to play with the. I should have been Pirate. So the cool thing is I think you can everyone in. I can command these guys to get in here. Yeah, get in, buddy. There he goes. And then hopefully it's not. Okay. There we go. And we're gonna get these guys. What are they? 88 feet, I think. And if you drive slow. I should have the last on there. I should have done one in the back so that he might actually come here. You know, let me do that. Let me do that. One back here. Okay, buddy. Try to get better aim. What are you doing? Come on. There you go. Let's wrap these legs. This is such a cool game. It's a bummer. The first one that came out, the newer one that came out, was actually pretty good. But it was pretty much only multiplayer. They didn't have this conquest kind of thing where you capture the bases like the original. Which I thought was a bummer because you had the graphics of what was it, DICE? I made it. And it just looked and sounded incredible. But it just wasn't as fun. In my opinion, you guys might think differently. But I was not a fan of it. And then when the second one came out, it was just full of microtransactions or I forget what they call them, hero cards or something like that. I think you gotta get better in. You're gonna just go, come on, buddy. There you go. But yeah, it was just, Battlefront 2 was a mess. I remember being a huge controversy when it came out. And this game is just incredible. And then the second Battlefront for PlayStation 2 is also really good. So I recommend, if you guys haven't played it ever, if you're younger, go check it out. I'm telling you, it's way better than the newer one that came out a while ago. Way, way better. Well, I'm gonna blow up. See if I can animate it through here. I think I can bail. Am I double tap? Oh, I feel bad. I let the guy in the plane. It's so bad. Oh, no. I got the controls. Oh, he's about to get me. How do I do this again? Oh, there we go. There we go. That's what I remember now. Man, this game is so much fun. I thought I could roll. Is it? Oh, I got some auto aim going on here. Okay, I got that. And we'll play for another minute or so, and we'll check the temperatures again, and then we'll call it a day. See if we can get this guy here. Boom. What else is there? Dude, I left him in the plane. It's so good. I thought I could roll. What? Oh, well, okay, that's amazing. He got me good. Okay, we'll do a little soldier here. Let's do the regular soldier. Yeah, there's the guys over there. Nice, single hit. Okay. Oh, he knows what's up. He knows what's up. Gotcha. Okay. And then, okay, I was gonna say, next time I die, we'll take a temperature reading, we'll call it a day. So, after playing all those games, you can see from my timer, it's been about almost an hour, which I think is a pretty good time to play it for. You know, a lot of times we don't get it that long. It looks like 88.7 was the highest reading I saw.
Defend the shield generator.
Defend the shield generator. Yeah, I think that was the highest reading. So as you can see, the S24 Ultra holds its temperature extremely well. It does a great job with temperature, and I can't wait to test the S25 Ultra. Even though with the new S Pen, this is being recorded after the release of it, not having Bluetooth, which is a major bummer. We'll see how the cooling is and how the performance is of the new chip.
because I think even if you pick this phone up used, you're getting so much value for your money. 7 years of software updates, incredible gaming performance. Everything is cold, or not cold, but it's cool to the touch. It's not hot like something like a Pixel would be, for example, doing these kinds of intensive tasks. So I think this is so worth it from the gaming perspective. But before we end, I want to show you guys, and excuse my dirty garage. So here's the OnePlus. It's only got a scratch on the screen. And it was on here, okay, face forward, and that's where it fell. I'm not even kidding, it fell like this. And so here it is right there. It was sitting on here, on this. That is just incredible. It did not break. I'm blown away. It did not break. So, yeah, okay.
In a world of so many choices of Android manufacturers, something many reviewers tend to just gloss over are the things that work with the device they're reviewing. The ecosystem and the accessories available for the device are just as important as the phone itself. Thankfully, the S24 Ultra has an incredible ecosystem and a wide variety of accessories, the most of any Android available, at least from which I've tried. Let me talk briefly about a few that I use daily. The Galaxy Watch Ultra. This is arguably the best Android watch out right now. And actually, I made a whole review about it, which should show up at the top of the screen about now. Also, the Galaxy Buds Pro 3. These are my all-time favorite earbuds to use. I haven't done a review on them because I'm not really sure yet how to do a review of audio that only I can hear and you guys can't hear. But there are tools out there that I will buy one day to do those reviews. They sound great and also work just as seamless as something like AirPods would with the iPhone or your iPad. And for cases and accessories, there are so many to choose from. That's one thing you will notice if you buy a device like OnePlus, for example. There are some cases here and there, but if you want the variety, you really need to get a more widely purchased device. Almost every single case available for the iPhone is also available for the S24 Ultra. You can't say that for any other device in the Android platform. Want leather? You got it. Silicone? You got it. Aramid fiber, rugged cases with kickstands, phones with extra buttons that give you more shortcut options through NFC tags. There are so many available that you could technically spend more money on cases and accessories than the actual phone. So is the S24 Ultra a good phone to buy right now, even with the release of the S25 Ultra? Yes, yes, and yes. It's not perfect, but for the price and the overall value you are getting, this is a definite buy. Thank you all for watching. This video took me so long to make. Please show some love by hitting that like button down below and let me know with any of the questions or concerns or things I can improve on down in the comments down below, because I do read every single comment down there. Subscribe for more if you like what I do, and I will see all of you next time.